So here's an interesting question. What is the easiest shiny hunt in all of Pokémon? And no, I'm not talking about anything that's handed out for free, like an event Pokémon or the Red Gyarados in Johto. I'm talking about shiny Pokémon that require the player to perform a certain task in order to have a chance at a shiny. Something where shinies aren't guaranteed and you need to go out of your way to get one. An actual shiny hunt with odds. Well, I think I've found the answer. Obviously, shiny hunting isn't the same for everyone. Sometimes a method that feels effortless to some players can feel like a chore to others. For example, I enjoy hunting in Let's Go. It's why I'm going for a shiny living dex in Let's Go Eevee. But I've spoken to a lot of people who find the whole method of either chaining or waiting tedious and boring. Which, to be real, yes, shiny hunting is boring by itself. It's why I do it in the background while listening to or watching something else. But that's besides the point. The things I'm talking about for here are 1. How many steps are required to start the hunt, and 2. How much focus does it take to do the hunt without messing something up? Well, after performing field research on the topic myself, I can safely say that I've got a really good answer. My pick for the easiest shiny hunt in all of Pokémon is the odd egg in Pokémon Crystal. Of course, if you happen to be watching this somewhere in the world where you're playing a Japanese version of Pokémon Crystal, this one might not be for you. The odd egg is an item that in Japan was tied to a feature that didn't exist in the international versions of the game, so it was moved to the daycare in between Ilex Forest and Goldenrod City. This egg is very special because not only can it hatch any of the new baby Pokémon introduced in Generation 2, but all of those hatches have an increased chance of being shiny. They all know Dizzy Punch exclusively as well. The odds of each Pokémon appearing are different. So, what if you're just looking for any shiny out of this egg? Well, the odds of that are about 14%, which is really good. Just think about it, that's better than 1 in 10 hatches. Of course, some of us would rather have certain shinies instead of others. So, what about specific Pokémon? Well, here's the rates of finding each Pokémon as a shiny. So, why is this the easiest shiny hunt in all of Pokémon in my opinion? Well, it's because it requires absolutely no setup. Everything you need to do it is right there. There's no prerequisite quest to get the odd egg, and right in the next city is where you can get the bike for free. Although before starting this hunt, I'd recommend getting this phone call out of the way so you don't have to see it on each attempt. So, the only 2 steps are literally Step 1! Get the bike, and Step 2! Save in front of this guy who gives you the odd egg. After that, it's as simple as talking to the man, getting the egg, riding back and forth to hatch it, and resetting if it's not the shiny you want. That's it. Even the worst odds out of all of these Pokémon are 1 in 100, which, despite the amount of time it takes to hatch one of these eggs, are still great odds. Sure, breeding could potentially give comparable odds for hatching other shinies back in Gold and Silver, but the fact that this method requires almost no preparation and can be done just 2 gym badges into the main story makes this hunt not only easy to start up quickly, but also to repeat multiple times. And yes, I know the newer games have some really easy methods too, but the reason why I think that this method is still the easiest of all time is that getting the best odds requires absolutely no work. No chaining, no getting the shiny charm, no Dynamax adventures, almost no progress required in the game itself. Of course, I could sit here and talk about how fast and easy this method is theoretically, but that would prove nothing, so of course I had to test it out. And I was quite ecstatic when the shiny I got out of this method was a Tyrogue, one of the 1%ers, and the one I wanted the most. This is literally the fastest shiny I have ever gotten in a Pokémon game from the time I've started a new game file to the time I obtained the Pokémon. That's what I must emphasize. Anyone can do this. It requires very little time, and while it can be frustrating trying to get a specific Pokémon, the fact that it can be multiple different shinies makes this hunt unpredictable and fun. It keeps some of the surprise element of finding one in the wild intact. So, there you have it, my pick for the easiest Pokemon hunt in any game. This hunt is the last thing from Obscure, but how many casual players that don't call themselves shiny hunters have tried it? Hopefully, I've shed a little more light on it and have caused more players to maybe try it out. Again, let me emphasize that I mean this is the easiest hunt to do from starting a new game. I know it's cool Pokemon Stadium are coming to Switch Online, but seriously, how cool would it be if Gold, Silver, and Crystal were on the Switch in some form, and could be linked up to Pokemon Home, allowing us to do this hunt and transfer the shinies into newer games? Huh? Or just do nothing with the old games. It's not like we're still interested in those or anything. I probably consider this my luckiest shiny hunt of all time so far. I've had a lucky hunt with 2 nearly full odds shinies in a row in Brilliant Diamond. And before that, there was the time where I got 2 Squirtles in Let's Go Eevee nearly back to back. But I think this takes the #1 spot for me because of the fact that not only did I get the shiny I wanted on as my very first shiny I hatched, but getting Tyrogue was way under odds. Forget the context of getting any shiny, and factor in the amount of time it takes to get just one hatch, which is minutes of riding back and forth on a bike, and I consider this one really lucky. Get ready, Scarlet and Violet are almost here. It's almost the last day, which, yeah, I wish it would just come out already, but at the same time, having something to look forward to is like the point of existence, so maybe it not being out isn't such a bad thing.